Welcome to yet another episode of the Kirt Gonzales Show. I am so glad that you decided to tune in today to my show. I have someone here with me today that I just fell in love with the very first time I met her. She's a nurse and she has an incredible story of her journey in life. And this is something that you do not want to miss, okay? So please stay with me after this break from our sponsor. We're gonna be back to hear this incredible story from this friend of mine, Summer, okay? All right, guys.
Attention ministry leaders. Have you ever considered growing your ministry with television? Well, the Daily Gospel Network could be what you've been looking for. As one of the nation's largest Christian broadcasting companies, the Daily Gospel Network broadcasts all over the world on popular streaming platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you're looking to grow and reach more people, the Daily Gospel Network could be your solution.
Welcome back to my show. Today I have this wonderful young lady by the name of Summer, who by everybody's standard had a wonderful upbringing and probably expected so much, and then life took a really, really bad turn, and a lot of people wrote her off. But we're gonna get into all of this. Before we get into the bad part, Summer, first begin, I want to say thank you for being here with me. I'm really, really happy that you're here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. But before we get into the bad things, tell me about the good things. Tell me about your upbringing.
Okay. As a child, I had a really good childhood. Good parents, good family. I was very, very blessed with a good upbringing.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for a better childhood.
Yeah. With both parents, your mom and dad?
Yeah, and then step parents also.
Okay.
So extended family, a brother.
Okay.
Good family.
All right. And you completed high school?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened after high school?
After high school, I got interested in the medical field as a CNA, and I just found that love of helping others. I really enjoyed that. I've always had a love for animals. I've been very active. I like to be outside and be outdoors. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you went to nursing school in college?
Yeah, I had my first son in 2009, and then that kind of pushed me to go to nursing school, to go to college.
So this was before you started college?
Yeah, I had my son before I started college.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So I had done a little bit of college, but it pushed me to get into the nursing program to finish it, completely.
Okay, all right. And so after you got into your nursing, did you just do were you in college doing the nursing?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And you graduated with your nursing degree?
Yes.
What happened after that?
Oh, I'm on top of the world. I worked so hard for this degree. I had a lot of help with my son, to get through the nursing school. And everybody's so proud of me for completing college. Life doesn't get better. Got my first nursing job. Passed the board of nursing and started my first job on Monday. On Wednesday, my mom passed away unexpected. And then on Friday, I got separated from my husband. So it went from the greatest thing on earth on Monday to Friday, I don't know what to do with myself,
How did your mom die?
She died of kidney and liver failure. So it was really unexpected. And she was my best friend. We had such a close relationship growing up my whole life. She's just the person I always depended on. If things got bad, that's who I would turn to.
Yes.
I was always just so close with her my whole life,
Yes. And so before we talk about what happened after with your mom, what happened with your husband? Why did you separate from your husband?
We just weren't we were friends, but there wasn't anything more, you know what I mean? That soulmate feeling that it worked, but it wasn't what I had envisioned in my mind as my husband forever. And you know, we had a son together before we got married and just kind of did it as like trying to, you know, do the right thing and raise our son together in a
Okay.
household.
All right. So now that your mom died, what happened after that?
It took, you know, I was working like in the ICU at a hospital, and I tried really hard to make that job work, and my mind just wasn't there. It was everywhere but, you know, hearing a song and just like falling apart, thinking ahead to like, but I still needed her for so many other things. I wanted her to see me succeed as a nurse, and I'm not succeeding. So I got different nursing jobs and just jumped around, trying to find one that worked, trying to just make life work. And it was just exhausting. Like, I was always trying to be strong and just get through one day sometimes, 1 minute sometimes. And it just got like, it kind of just overtook like everything. I just couldn't be strong anymore.
Right, because what you mean, like depression from losing your mother?
Yes, yeah. Thinking too far ahead, like anxiety about, can I do this without her? All the what ifs.
Yes.
And then I knew people like, they knew we were so close, so they would like look at me like, oh, poor Summer. So that made me fall into this like, I felt so bad for myself. Like, oh, how are you gonna make this, you know, go through life without her? I had so many other people I could have leaned on at that time, but I didn't want them. I wanted my mom.
Your mom,
know?
Yeah, okay.
And at the time I was mad at God too for taking her, like working that out. Like, she was such a good person. There were so many other bad people. Why couldn't you take the bad person? Why did you have to take my mom? She was so good. All the like normal things, but at the time it was just working through it, you know.
Yeah. And so now you don't have your mother, you don't have your husband. Where was your son?
My son was with me at the time. His dad would work out of town and would come in on the weekends, and so we had like shared custody of him.
Okay. So now you're dealing with a whole lot of depression.
Yeah.
Losing your mom. Were you? I know you said you wanted your mom there to see you through all the nursing. Was there anybody at all that you felt you could have leaned on to help you through the depression?
Oh yeah.
Did
definitely. They wanted to help and they wanted to be there, but I would let them be there a little bit, but not like, I had my guard up too, because I was thinking that the blind side of losing somebody that I love so much, what if that happens again, you know? I wanted to detach from everybody around me.
Yes.
Because I didn't want that to happen again.
Yes.
So the people that loved me and tried to support me, I really pushed them away, you know.
Okay. So what started happening while you were spiraling in all of this depression?
Yeah, just searching for ways to feel better. I started smoking. I started just doing things I wouldn't normally do, going out with different people, and I tried to have like different boyfriends, like thinking that might help, and just none of it helped, like at all.
Okay.
You know, just doing things that I wouldn't normally do. So, you know, you start, well, I'll try this and I'll try that, and then it just gets easier to try the more you try things, you know.
Like try like what?
I mean, like eventually it got to the point where like, you know, looking back, I would have never, ever, ever dreamed that I would, like if you think pre my mom dying, I would have never tried drugs. But at the time, it was like, what have I got to lose? That's what I'm thinking in the moment. Looking back, I'm like, I had a lot to lose.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I didn't think about it.
And what kind of drugs were you trying?
You know, I stepped away from nursing. Like, I realized that I shouldn't be taking care of people. I shouldn't be, like, I couldn't make good judgment calls. You know, like, nothing happened, but I realized that was a problem. So I stepped away from nursing. Took some time off of nursing. Okay. Well, in that time, I had a lot of free time. You know? So it started with pain pills. Well, it started with smoking like marijuana. And then at like the person's house, I'm smoking marijuana. Somebody has a pain pill. Try this. I don't really know what it is, but I'm trying it. You know.
At least they told you it was pain
Right, they
pills.
said pain pills,
Okay,
yeah,
all
you
right.
know. So, you know, I experienced that like numbness, like it gave me a minute to breathe. Like you think it's a way of like, oh, I can make it through one day with this, but it's in the end, it's
Okay.
not, you know.
I want us to talk about the different drugs that you tried.
Okay.
And we're going to get into that after this quick break from
Okay.
our sponsor. So don't go anywhere, guys. Tune in right after this break, and we're going to get more into the story of Summer.
Looking for inspiration, motivation, and the good news of Jesus Christ? Look no further. The Daily Gospel Network has what you need. With more than 300 ministries from all over the country broadcasting every week, you're sure to get your dose of spirit-filled encouragement from the great programs on the Daily Gospel.
Before the break, Summer started talking to us about some of the drugs that she started trying. So now we're going to go more in depth with that. Okay? You're okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So tell us more about the drugs, because here's the thing. A lot of people, when they are going through depression and so on, they have to find a coping mechanism. And a lot of people don't understand when you start to spiral out, it's just a coping mechanism, but you need to find a healthy ways.
Yeah.
To find coping mechanisms, good, healthy habits and healthy ways to deal with the grief. And that's the problem that a lot of young people deal with and find themselves going down the path of doing all different kind of drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us about that experience you had.
So, you know, quickly, like it started off like as a weekend thing, and then like before I knew it, it was a daily thing. Well, you know, my son, I lost custody of my son somewhere in the middle of this, like
Because of you, Luke, taking the drugs.
when it had went from a weekend thing to like a daily thing, it was I couldn't care for my son, and I recognized that.
Yeah.
My dad recognized that, and so losing custody of him, like even the spiral got completely worse, like, and it went from
More depression.
Yeah, and then also I don't have like somebody to wake up in the morning to get ready for school, the routine, like I can do what I want when I want. I don't have I had a job, like part-time job, but you know, nothing that like made me feel that feeling like helping people. It gave me a sense of purpose, like a reason for getting up every day.
Yes.
So it went from a weekend thing to a daily thing, and then whenever I ran out of money and didn't have it, I realized that I was physically dependent on it.
Yes.
You know, so then you go through this horrible cycle of like being sick and then just getting it to be unsick. For years, it was just pain pills. That's it, you know. But you can have like tremendous life problems just from pain pills.
Pain
you know?
pills.
Yeah.
What were some of the physical, things that you were experiencing taking that?
At the beginning, I thought it was just the flu, but it didn't go away. Like it didn't even dawn on me that that's what it was, is withdrawal.
Those were the withdrawals
Yeah.
that were okay.
Yeah, it just lasted so long. Like stomach cramps, going to the bathroom, feeling nauseous, you can't eat, you feel drained, like you feel like you can't even get up to go make something to eat, you know.
How many pain pills were you taking at one time?
You know, it got to a point like I didn't have a lot of money, so it was just however many I could buy, like, and then your tolerance goes up and up and up. So it was just as much as I could buy. And I had a boyfriend at the time, like, you know, you work together to get them, and then you feel like it's like this like reward system in your mind, you know, that gets redirected. That's what I got so hyper focused on, that you just forget about all the other things that are going on around in your life that you're just not thinking about.
Yeah. So if, let's say I feel a pain, I'll just pop 2 Tylenol.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll be fine. But obviously, if it's an addiction, it's going to be a whole lot more than 2.
Yeah,
You're going to have to be taken at one time.
That's why I didn't worry about like taking too much. Like it was as much as I could afford, you know.
Wow.
There wasn't like, I didn't worry about overdosing. Looking back, I should have definitely worried about that.
What did it make? Okay, so when people smoke, say like marijuana and cocaine, they talk about the high. What did it make you feel taking a bunch of painkillers at one time?
Like numb and tingling and just instant happiness. Like now I know, like I see things differently now. Like it may be harder to get that happy feeling, but it's more like life lasting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's instant and it wears off quickly.
Oh, really?
You know? Yeah.
Wow.
So whenever you're down like that, it's a real temptation. I feel horrible about myself for what I'm doing, and I do that and I feel better, and then I feel worse that whatever you did to get the money, to get the, you know, you sold whatever and you didn't think about it at the time, but
Sold stuff in your house just to get
stole
painkillers?
stuff, you know, whatever you do to get, you know, to get them. Yeah.
Okay. And from pain pills, what did it lead to you taking from there?
So it was a few years I was on pain pills, and then I got away from the pain pill crowd into a different crowd, and they were injecting like injecting meth and heroin, you know.
Okay.
And I actually need to back up. Like I only had $40, and I ran into somebody that said, do you like to get high? And I was like, I can't afford to. So he gave me heroin. So that $40 lasted longer. So it was tempting at the time to do that, and I was snorting it then. So then it went from that really quickly to meth. Like, well, with that I wasn't sick, opiate withdrawal sick.
Okay.
So I thought I was doing better. Like,
Okay.
and it's so backwards thinking now, but like at the time I was like, I haven't had a pain pill in a month, I'm doing great.
Right.
But it's like, no, now you just traded one addiction for another.
Right. And the withdrawals and everything was completely different from the pain
so I didn't
pills.
recognize it as a withdrawal.
Okay. And how long were you doing the heroin and the meth?
That was maybe another year. I mean, maybe another 6 months, because it's just, time went by so differently then. Like, I'll never forget when I see the leaves fall now. I remember I was walking with my dad outside, and I looked up, and like there were no leaves on the trees, but they were on the ground. And I looked at my dad and I was like, fall is one of my favorite times of the year. I missed the whole thing. Like, I was so busy doing other things in the cycle of getting and using and all the things. Like, I missed the whole season of fall.
Right.
It was
Just being at home, taking meth
Yes.
and heroin.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And were there anything else besides the heroin and the meth?
No.
Okay. When did that come to an end?
So that came to an end whenever, you know, there were a couple like jail stints, but.
So tell me about the jail stints.
Okay, so there was the first one that was like 2 weeks. You know, you get off, get on probation, mess up on probation, go back to jail.
So why did you go to jail the first time?
Like with the meth came psychosis, and so like a whole, it's just like, to think back now, like it was for like, first, like I thought that somebody had placed keys in a car for me. Somebody looking at it on the outside sees me stealing their car.
Okay.
So I'm not intentionally stealing your car. I think that's my car.
Okay. That's what was going
right,
on in your
in my
mind
yeah.
because of the meth.
Yes, but the charge was stolen motor vehicle, and it's like, I never intended on stealing your car, you know?
Right.
But the mind of somebody that is,
Okay, and that was the first time?
yeah. that was the
Okay,
first time.
and so how many times did you actually go to jail?
3.
3 times. What happened the second time?
The second time was the possession charge. You know, I'd gotten caught with some meth, and then the third time.
How long did you?
That was a month.
A month.
1 month.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then I had like been dodging the probation officer, and got in trouble with probation for the third time. And so I knew that when I got caught that time, it was going to be 3 months, you know.
Okay.
That's longer than I had done. It was in a different, you know, county.
Mm. Okay. All right. So all this time that you're in and out of jail, where was your dad? Where was any other family member?
Okay, so, you know, at the beginning of my addiction, they were there for me. They did everything that they could possibly do to help me.
Mm.
And then they realized that it was borderline enabling me, you know.
Mm.
They realized, okay, we're helping her so much that this is making her be able to use even longer.
Mm.
They spoke to some professionals that encouraged them to kind of back off a little bit, you know.
Mm.
Looking back, I'm really glad they did.
Mm.
You know, it made it bad enough to where I didn't want to continue to use, you know. I'm homeless. I don't have a way to get around.
See,
I don't have food to eat.
That's what I was about to ask you. Where were you living at that time?
Just friends' houses, just around
Just
whoever would let me sleep on the couch.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Strangers, just anybody, you know, friends. But I didn't have many friends because, you know.
Hold that thought. We're going to be right
Okay.
back after a quick break and a word from our sponsors. We'll be back.
Looking for inspiration?
This is really great. So before the break, we were talking about you being homeless, just sleeping by this friend, that friend, the other friend. That can seem to a lot of people be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Because was there any time that you were ever hurt by anyone, you know, physically or anything?
Looking back, like, I've never met anybody like thinking, like talking to different people that have been on drugs that weren't hurt. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I see how blessed I was that the only thing thinking back, like, that hurt me the most was like, I would let somebody know up front, say it was a guy, I really need a place to sleep tonight. Can I crash on your couch? They'd say, yeah, sure. I would let them know up front, like, it's not anything sexual. This is just, I just need a place to sleep, really tired, like, and then you would get there and they would be fine with that, but like 3 o'clock in the morning and they realize that you're not gonna have sex with them. They kick you out in the middle of the night. Then you're in a place like you don't always know, you don't always have like a, you know, place you could go to, like you're just kind of waiting at a gas station for daylight. Like,
To do what?
To what?
You waiting at the gas station for daylight to
Yeah.
what?
To call somebody to see if you can go to their house, or, you know, it was just like it's a horrible way to live, you know.
Wow. God truly protected you.
Yes, he did. For
through
sure.
that time.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioning now through all this journey of drugs and being homeless, at what point did you come to say, you know what, Lord, I need you?
Yeah.
To say, but you know what, I want to give my life to the Lord.
Yeah. I realized that, you know, like I was looking forward to that jail sentence starting, so I would have a place to sleep, meals to eat. And I knew that wasn't normal. Like, most people don't look forward to going to jail.
Believe it or not, I have actually heard that before. I have actually heard from people before where they say, yes, I want to do crimes so that I can have somewhere to go and live.
Yeah.
So,
And you know, you're in a jail cell, like it's not always the safest, but it's safer than being on the street. You know?
yes. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So whenever I was in jail, I found out the next day that I was pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, while I was in jail. And so, you know, it took a few days, like a week, to like realize I'm having a baby, and then to let like the drugs clear from my system to get a clear mind. But like, I really truly feel like I was set free in jail because I only had nothing but time. Like, I had a Bible, and I had people that would come to the jail once a week to pray with us and talk with us.
So was this when you found out you were pregnant, was this the third time you were in jail? Or
Yes,
the third? Okay,
the
so this
last
was the
time.
third,
Yeah.
the last time. Okay.
The last time, the 3-month time.
Right, okay, go ahead.
So then it's like I didn't have much left, but like I really, for the first time, just gave it all to God. I'm like, whatever you can do with this, I'll give you, and I'll do my best to raise my child the best that I can for you. But I don't know how all this is going to work. Like, you have to figure out the steps, but I'm willing to do it your way instead of my way.
Right.
Like, I had tried to do it my way for so long.
For so long, yeah.
And nothing worked. Like,
Yeah.
I was just, I didn't have any other options.
Did you know who the baby daddy was?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was like my boyfriend at the time. But the thing was, like, he was getting clean and I still wanted to use.
Okay.
So part of me didn't feel like I was up to his standards, like he would want somebody like me because I was still actively using while he was clean. But him and my dad, they were both like really encouraging, you know. There was a social worker too, I have to back up, like, that got me into this really awesome rehab. Like, she worked really hard. She got me into a good rehab after jail, but I had to go straight from jail to there. And my dad and my boyfriend were really supportive of that.
So let me ask you about because you said you were living from a friend to friend to friend.
Yeah.
Were you in a relationship with the boyfriend at that time?
Yes, like he had also been to jail on and off. Like,
okay.
We were in a relationship, but like he wasn't really sure. Like, are you committed to me? Like, he would hear things too. Like, was she sleeping at my house? He wouldn't hear the whole story about, well, I kicked her out at 3:00 because she wouldn't sleep with me. You know.
Yes.
So he wasn't sure, and I wasn't very trustworthy about like my word and stuff. You know. I didn't want to go stay at different places, but I couldn't stay at his house.
Why not?
Because his dad was like, no drugs are allowed in this house. He's getting clean. You don't need to be around here because you're still using, you know?
Okay. Were there ever a time that you were using with him?
Yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, like right before he got clean, like maybe a few weeks before he went to jail, and that started him getting clean.
But where did you meet him?
We went to high school together.
Okay.
He knew like the before drugs summer. He knew like the happy one.
Yes.
You know, everything's together, everything's good. And he knew that like that was really me and that I could get back to that, you know?
Yeah, okay. So now you're in jail. You find out you're pregnant. Did you reach out to him and tell him?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I mean, at first it was like, is it even mine? You know, and all this, but like, of course, like, I knew that it was, and you know, eventually, like, he got to the point where he trusted me again. He saw that I was taking steps to do what I said I would do.
Yes.
And like, trust was built a little bit at a time, you know.
Yes. Okay. So when you got out of jail, you went to...
Thanks for watching the Kirt Gonzales Show, the home of motivation